Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sukiraman Manivannan. I lead the data privacy, data protection, and AI security and responsible AI practice at CPX. Uh, Happy to be here. Welcome all of you to G42 stand. Happy to be here driving a session on fueling innovation with integrity, a framework for safe and secure AI. So everybody is embracing AI technologies these days, and safety and security are two important parameters in adoption of AI, and this is more a session for. Sorry. Hold on for a minute. No tech sessions are complete without a technical glitch, so we are there on it, I believe. Let's get it sorted. Yeah. Great. So we are CPX. CPX is one of the latest entrant into the G42 group, and we specifically focus on cybersecurity, data protection, and we also do a little bit in the AI space today. So, we are founded in 2022, and we are a trusted and leading partner working with multiple federal and private agencies providing end-to-end cybersecurity solutions. We are focused on a few important areas like energy, utility, banking and finance, government, defense, intelligence, enterprise and healthcare. We've done at a national level 14 cyber transformation projects. We've got about 55 government and enterprise clients. Our workforce is ever growing. We've crossed recently 400 mark, and we are well marching towards reaching the 500 mark in next year, and about very diverse population of people, cybersecurity experts across the world. We work with more than 40 different nationalities within the organization. So far, our SOC services, our cybersecurity services, have reached more than 78,000 end consumers in terms of protection of their data and cyber ecosystem in general. So that's quickly about us. Now also let's get going into the AI thing. So if you look at, in the recent past, you would have seen a lot of countries across the world are starting to regulate artificial intelligence. The reason for regulating artificial intelligence are many reasons. One is to bring in a sort of a harmonious way to implement AI technologies, emerging technologies in our world, so that there is a fine balance between utility of AI versus safety of AI and security of AI systems and so on. If you quickly take a sneak peek about the world graph, world map today, almost all of these major regions, major economies that we're talking about has got one or the other regulation regulating artificial intelligence. And UAE is no different in that space. In fact, UAE has a very ambitious target of becoming an AI capital of the world by 2031 with its UAE's National Artificial Intelligence Strategy. And we are the first and only country in the world, very proud about that, to say that we have a ministry focused on artificial intelligence, remote working and other emerging technologies. And that ministry is doing a fantastic job with giving out a lot of guidance on ethical development of AI systems and so on and so forth. And to top it up at a federal level, all the Emirates individually are doing a lot of work. Digital Dubai has given a framework for ethical AI practices and safe AI system development. I'm sure you've found a lot of announcements across this space in the AI development as such. So we have the AI national strategy for 2031, plus we also have, apart from the regulations, we also have industry best practices in terms of ISOs and NASTs, and all other major corporations across the world venturing into the AI space are adopting some sort of a responsible AI framework. We are partnered with Microsoft. Microsoft has got a responsible AI standard. It's a very old standard by now. 2022 is when it released, and then there are multiple iterations that's happening here. So if you look at this, it's very evident that the regulation, the need for regulating AI across the world is on the rise. Now, looking quickly into the UAE's artificial intelligence strategy. So as I said, we want to be number one in the world when it comes to adopting AI. And that strategy is actually facilitated by key 8 pillars within that strategy. And one of the foundational pillars that we have is to have a strong and effective governance on AI development and AI utility within the country. So that sets the tone very rightly for having responsible AI, secure AI practices in any sort of AI development, deployment, usage that happens across the enterprise ecosystems and consumer ecosystems here. Uh, Within CPX, what we did was, looked at the major frameworks, major regulations, major standards across the world, talking about responsible AI, AI safety, AI security, and so on and so forth. And we saw there were 6 important thematics we were able to identify. The first and foremost talks about having a vision and strategy towards AI adoption as a nation, also as well as at an enterprise level, you should have the right vision and strategy for adopting AI. Second is investing in the right AI use cases. That is very, very crucial. Today, you would find, if you scan across around yourself in GITEX today, you would hardly find one stall which doesn't use the word AI. So the experimentation that happens with AI today is phenomenally good. A lot of experimentation is happening, but whether all of these experimentations will be successful on a longer run, it's a question. So organizations are going to be starting to look into the ROI on the experimentations starting next year, and then you will find that the adoption is going to be stabilized in a way that it is not exponentially growing, but in a very gradual but a steady phase growing forward. So investing in the right use cases, looking at the value for business alignments, return on investment is going to be crucial. Data is a third pillar, which is a crucial element for any sort of AI success stories. Data governance plays a very, very important step in sourcing the right data, having the right data utility, quality of data, data provenance, and so on and so forth. That becomes a very important theme within the AI ecosystem everywhere. Now, when we speak of AI systems, we can't unmarry AI systems from a traditional IT system standpoint as well. So your AI application or AI system is also going to be sitting or having some overlap between your traditional IT security problems, IT infrastructure problems, and so on. So investing in the right IT infrastructure, be it your own on-prem AI agents, AI solutions, or cloud-based AI solutions, needs to focus on traditional security and IT problems in IT infrastructure. Last but not the least is people, having the right people, both at a governance level within the organizations to govern AI's utility, as well as educating people on the utility of AI, be transparent with people so that they kind of embrace adoption of AI at scale is a key theme that we speak of. And when we speak of people, privacy as an issue also comes very bundled with AI. So how do we kind of safely enable people to confidently and comfortably share their personal information, giving that assurance to companies, to people, saying that their data will be utilized in a very fair and transparent fashion is a key crux that we speak in the people side. Last but not the least is governance. Having the right governance ecosystem on top of your AI system is going to be crucial. Having the right stakeholders, having the right technology, processes, and procedures around that is key. Now, looking at all these thematics, what we have done at CPX is we're proud to say that we've come up with a proprietary AI, responsible AI, or safe AI framework that we will showcase in a minute. Along with that, we have a kind of a facilitated roadmap that will easily be available for organizations to adopt the whole ambit of responsibility and trustworthiness within AI. So the need for AI governance, the story is built majorly on a risk landscape. AI introduced a different sort of a risk to an already existing risk ecosystem, be it the nicheness of the technology, the lack of explainability of AI's decision-making capabilities, and most importantly, the future that we are looking at today, where AI gets interconnected into our daily lives through your IT, IoT, and OT ecosystem is going to be a very, very crucial element for you to look at. So that kinds of emphasize the need for having governance program for AI things. And of course, some of you may be risk management professionals, to have key decisions being made using that risk statements of ROIs, investment ready, value chain, and all of that is going to be important topic. Bots of Microsoft called Tay, which was forced to shut down due to ethical considerations and whatnot. So few examples here is one of the one that I want to pick, which many people may know, that Amazon had a candidate recruitment system related bot, which exhibited bias towards female employees when screening resumes. So it was a problem, inherent problem that was there in the AI model, which made the successfulness of a female candidate's application scrutinized for job opportunities was very less there. So that's one classic example where we speak of bias and inherent problems in models as an example of AI usage going wrong. Another classic example which you would recollect is Samsung inadvertently exposing all of its source code because their developers wanted to do some bug fixes and went to ChatGPT and then entered the source code in the ChatGPT to do some bug fixes, inadvertently exposing the whole proprietary source code there. So those are typical problems of AI going wrong. Now, how do we fix these AI going wrong problem is by having implemented right guardrail mechanisms, or otherwise called as safeguard mechanisms. So there are 6 thematics that we're talking about here. One is having ethical guidelines in place to govern the utility of AI. Second is having, okay, you may have a very good AI chatbot developed in your organization, but unless otherwise you kind of scan those AI chatbots or AI systems and models for bias detection, harmful content generation, and so on, it's not going to be really solving the purpose of safety and responsibility there. The next one focuses more on the data problem that we saw. One of the thematics was also data, right? So having the right source of data and the authenticity and the quality of data is going to be crucial when we speak of implementing guardrails there. Privacy preserving technologies and also focus on diversified set of data being included in your training data sets, in ensuring that representations of minority groups and socially downtrodden groups is going to be a crucial cause from an ESG standpoint of the AI governance life cycle. And last but not the least is adoption of responsible AI principles, which are given by major organizations across the world like OECD and whatnot, feeds into the whole guardrail implementation mechanisms. Now, most of them might sound very theoretical, but in today's world, there are tools and technologies that are available for each and every problem that you see in this slide, be it AI observability, explainability, transparency, fairness checks, AI-specific red teaming activity. All of that can be automated by simple API calls, having them integrated with your AI frameworks or AI technologies that you're building today. Now, this slide gets a little technical to ensure that we all understand at a very high level that what are the important risk and mitigation factors that we should know when we speak of AI operational lifecycle. So typical AI operational lifecycle has got 3 different phases in it, starting with the data operations, then in the center, the heart of it is the model operations, followed by DevOps. So typically the DevOps is what you see as an application layer at front. For example, ChatGPT as an application is sitting for you at the DevOps space, right? And GPT-4o, GPT-4 mini, GPT 3.5, these are typical models that sit in the model operations space, the model ops space here. And then the model got trained using a large set of raw data, which is the training data, pre-training data, validation data, whatnot we call as. This is happening in this data ops ecosystem. Now, each one of these ecosystems within has got their own unique problems from a risk standpoint and various ways of mitigating those risks. So if you look at the data ops risk specifically, you will find one of the major problem that you have is data poisoning attacks that most of the AI models are vulnerable to. So not just data poisoning, but beyond data poisoning, there are so many other number of risks that we see. So data poisoning is over here. Now, let's say if you're using a technology like Copilot today in your organizations and you're enabling employees to use Copilot, now the only way that you can have good control over Copilot or ChatGPT is by having proper data governance, data labeling mechanisms on top of this. So missing data classification, data governance, or poor data quality, all of that becomes an inherent risk statement in the data ops lifecycle for you. And these data ops risk can be mitigated using multiple different mitigation methodologies by implementing a proper access control, establishing comprehensive data classification schema, monitoring for feature manipulations and transformation that happens within the model, ensuring that data lineage is properly sorted before any sort of data is fed in as raw data into the ecosystem and so on. So this is at a very high level to educate you guys on, okay, AI is a fancy thing, everybody is adopting. We don't get to see the intricacies of AI working on a daily basis. So this would serve as an education for you guys to understand that risk exists in all layers, all levels of AI programs. Now, similarly, in the model space, you would find that model has got its own inherent risk. Classic example is model drift. The moment ChatGPT launched, the accuracy rates of those models were pretty high. But with utility continuing on ChatGPTs, the accuracy rates went low because the models start to drift a little, which is a common problem that exists. There are mechanisms for you to recalibrate the models, retrain them so that the model drift problem gets solved for you. So these are typical issues that happens and typical mitigation factors that we have in the model space. Similarly, in the DevOps space where the application layer is there, common DevOps problems that you may face, like prompt injection as a very classic example. So, users try to abuse systems using prompt injection techniques today to make sure that AI systems are you're able to bypass those harmful content detection and bias and discrimination mechanisms you put in place, bypass them to kind of get some bad things out of AI systems as well. So those are typical problems that you have in the DevOps space, and then the mitigation factors for them. Implementing a decent input validation parameter in itself is going to be a very good classic example of how do you mitigate DevOps related risk here. Now, this sets the tone from a technology standpoint. Why do you have to invest on developing an AI governance model? Now, how does this typical AI governance model would look like is, it has got both top-down and bottom-up approach. Top-down, you have to have the right organization structure, the right buy-in from people. You have to have roles and responsibilities defined at all three levels: strategic, tactical, and operational level, and having a very described approval and decision-making process within the organization. And in the center, you have the operating model. The bottom-up feeding to the operating model is your AI taxonomy, which is nothing but your past processes and procedures that you put in place about the governance. Model training, model development, model deployment ecosystem. How do you establish the process around that? And finally, the monitoring. Once you put them on deployment mode, do you have capabilities to actively monitor those models on an ongoing basis? For example, for drift, for model theft and manipulations, and so on and so forth. Now, the next core component is establishing matrices that monitors all of that we discuss in this pane of things. So that is typically how you establish an AI governance framework. And this is, I'm very proud to show this to you guys about CPX's Safe and Secure Responsible AI framework, which is completely custom built, homegrown for us, looked into a lot of available sources across the world, across the industry, and came up with AI governance, a wheel in which has got AI governance as the center of it, supported by three important pillars: organizational driver, model development and deployment, security and privacy consideration in it. So organizational driver talks about what we saw as the top-down approach in the previous slide of having the right organization structure in place, committing as an organization to responsible AI commitments, focusing on regulatory landscape compliance, and having the right structure and accountability within the organization. Similarly, in the model development and deployment space, we talk about the whole AI system lifecycle, right from development process or ideation process until the product development and deployment stages. And how do we embed responsible AI principles within it? When I say responsible AI principles, we're talking about transparency, fairness, legality of it, security of it, privacy of it, and so on and so forth. Similarly, the data operations, so having the right data sources, having the right training parameters established, and so on. And operational monitoring is post-deployment, having an operating monitoring overview on the key parameters of model monitoring, like drift mechanisms, bias mechanisms, and so on. Last but not the least is the security and privacy pillar, where we focus on doing model and AI system security measures, be it testing, validation, verification process, which is ideally called as TEVV process. Privacy in AI, sourcing the right data with consent from users, ensuring that the bots or the AI agents that you develop are not casually spilling personal information of people. It should not be spilling out, so on and so forth. And last but not the least is, or two topics is risk management and infrastructure security, both from a DevOps standpoint and also cloud and network security standpoint, all of that is covered. So this is what our framework at a very nutshell level looks like. And this framework is slight explanation on each of the components of this framework. In strategy and framework, we focus on adoption objectives, ESG measures, governance strategy, data governance framework, risk framework, security privacy frameworks, research and development, innovation, stuff's there. Responsible AI commitments spoke about, if you're a typical company which develops LLMs, models yourself, then you need to commit to responsible AI commitments, right from stakeholder engagement, continuous learning and development, user empowerment, information sharing, collaboration, and so on. regulatory compliance. It's not just about complying to regulations, but also playing an active role in canvassing regulatory landscape across the world today. Structure and accountability talks about establishing the oversight committee, establishing the AI governance office within the organization, and so on. Similarly, model development and deployment, we speak of the system lifecycle, use cases, architecture, dev, AI red teaming, model selection and training, the ways, the parameters that you will have to select models, the due diligence process that you may have in that space. Responsible AI principles, safety, resiliency, explainability, how do you bake in all of those principles within your development life cycles, data operation, as I said, data quality assurance, residency and sovereignty, which G42 as a group, under the G42 group, one of the USPs of us is Core 42 selling sovereign security and cloud as an offering where your AI operations can work here. Provenance and authenticity, all of that comes from the data operation. Last but not the least is model monitoring for you, establishing the model monitoring metrics, runtime input-output integrity checks, and all of that stuff is the core component of the framework that you put in place. Similarly, the security and privacy operations, considerations, secure AI system development, identity protection, model designs, adversarial training and testing, runtime ecosystem security, application security testing. Privacy talks about user enhancing technology, privacy enhancing technologies like differential privacies, anonymization techniques, and so on. In the infrastructure security, talks about zero trust architecture, secure cloud architecture adoption, and all of that. In risk management, we talk about typically conformity assessments, AI system impact assessments, and so on and so forth. So that is something that we have developed in-house, which not only focuses on responsible AI as a standalone problem with respect to certain principles that are theoretically spoken in general, but this is all a practically implementable framework supported by a completely tech-based ecosystem for you to adopt and secure the whole, or safe, make the whole AI adoption in a very safe way. How do you do this? A typical roadmap that we start with an assessment phase, understanding where you are as an organization, your current capabilities in the responsible AI space, and then going on to design the right strategy and framework that fits in. So though we have a skeletal level of framework already proposed that you saw in the previous slides, but it needs a little bit of fine tuning for catering to your specific requirements and needs. That is something that we do in the design phase, and followed by a development and implementation of the whole framework, supported by a lot of technology solutions needed to enhance the operational behavior of AI systems, and finally get into the continuous monitoring to ensure that we're not dropping the ball once we have established a good process and make it as a continuous process for organizations to adopt. So that is pretty much about our responsible AI framework that we have developed. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I hope everybody is having a fantastic GITEX Global 2024. I look forward to speak to you guys sometime later. Thank you very much.